Hey there, Haley here. Do you remember what happened to God's people in Judah? The king of Babylon took them far away, and God's people were sad. They probably missed their homes. God sent Ezekiel the prophet to tell God's people some good news. Watch this.
Ezekiel was a prophet. He spoke to God's people who were living in Babylon. The people who had been unfaithful to God. They did not love him and obey him like they should. God punished them and allowed the king of Babylon to take them away from their homes in Judah. But there was hope for God's people. God had a plan to bring them back.
Ezekiel saw a vision. It was like a dream, but Ezekiel was awake. In this vision, Ezekiel was at the temple. He saw cherubim, which are like angels with wings. Cherubim serve God and worship him.
In this vision, Ezekiel saw something that looked like a throne. It was bright blue like a sapphire. God spoke to a man dressed in linen. God said, "Scoop up handfuls of hot coals and throw the coals over the city of Jerusalem." The hot coals would burn the city. The coals were how God would purify the city or make it clean. In those days when something was too dirty to be cleaned with water, it was burned up.
Ezekiel watched the man go into the temple. The glory of God was in the temple, and it was like a cloud. The cloud filled the temple with God's presence. Ezekiel heard the wings of cherubim. Their wings were loud, and they sounded like the voice of God.
The man who went to the temple stood beside a wheel. One of the cherubim took some of the coals from the fire and put them in the man's hands. The man took the hot coals and left the temple.
Ezekiel looked, and he saw 4 wheels beside the cherubim. Each wheel was sparkling like crystals, like colored jewels. The wheels were moving with the cherubim, and the cherubim had eyes all over their bodies, their backs, their hands, their wings. Even the wheels had eyes on them.
The cherubim each had 4 faces. The first was the face of an angel. The second was the face of a human. The third face was the face of a lion. And the fourth face was the face of an eagle. Then the cherubim went up, up, up into the air. Wherever the cherubim went, the wheels went too.
Then the glory of God left the temple. The cherubim lifted their wings and flew into the air. In this vision, Ezekiel saw the cherubim leave, and he saw that the wheels went with them.
God left the temple because he wasn't happy with his people's sin. Sin separates people from God. Jesus came to earth to fix our relationship with God by taking the punishment of our sin for us. Because of Jesus, we can turn from our sin, trust in him, and then enjoy God's presence forever.
Ezekiel's vision is kind of confusing. How did God show he was unhappy with Israel? God's presence left the temple. The temple was where God's people met with God. God cannot be around sin. Jesus came and died to take away our sin so we can be with God forever.